Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Today I'm doing a Draw This Again challenge with this drawing of Freya I did 5 years ago to see how much I improved. And looking at the drawing, there's a lot to be desired. There's no anatomy, the head is a bit too big, and I hope I improved. So let's get on with the speed draw. So, right off the bat, I'm starting with a sketch because, as you can see, last one didn't look like it had a sketch, so I just wanted to sketch out some basic anatomy. Not correct anatomy, might I add. This is just a shortcut that I have from life drawing class, and you can already tell there's a massive improvement in the pose. I just have to finically adjust everything. And this was without a reference. This was just me in my head. I did use a reference later, but that's just because it was looking a little wonky. So I think you will see soon me pausing for a second to get the correct anatomy. So the main problem with the previous one from 5 years ago, besides the drawing itself, was the pose. I originally hid the hands behind the back so I wouldn't have to draw hands. Because, let's face it, no one wanted to draw hands. No one ever wants to draw hands. But I wanted to prove to myself that I actually learned something and know how to draw hands now. So here you see this pause, and that's when I was getting my camera, taking that reference, and then I adjust everything. I didn't include the reference in here because I was recording and I didn't want to pause the recording, so I just looked at my phone. And you will see me flip the canvas a couple of times. I don't normally do this, even though I should, but I'm starting to get into the habit of flipping it every once in a while so it doesn't look too wonky. But yeah, then I just meticulously adjust everything. And now we move on to the head, and you see how I usually draw. Eyes didn't work this time, so I had to see where everything went first. And I thought that this looked a lot like Dylan, just because Dylan doesn't have any hair. That just makes Dylan very easy to draw. So, to keep this drawing as accurate to the original as possible, I also went with the original drawing's fashion choice, which was Polderons, I believe that's what they're called. Gambison? Something. Anyway, it's armor. It protects Freya. And we see just the Dylan look-alike for a couple minutes before I eventually add hair. But here I believe originally there was a skirt on the 5 years ago drawing, but I just switched it out for some leg protection. And here I drew the hair, and it has a lot more volume than last time. Last time it was just a little blob I drew on top, as a little icing on the cake, you know? But yeah, and then I get the eye direction. I did change it, because the original, I don't know what she was looking at, I don't know where she was looking at. But this is just the eye position that I default to, just looking off to the side. And I didn't include Freya's scar this time because the original only had war paint. So Freya gets to not have a scar on her eye. She's still blind, but she doesn't have a scar. Woo! And I'm just adjusting a couple more things and flip the canvas. That's 2 for 2. And now we move on to line art, and I believe I'm going to speed this up a lot because I struggled for a while on the line art. Yeah, line art's not my forte. It will never be my forte. I think it's just because I overdo the sketch a bit, and then I don't rely on my lines as much as I should. And here I'm just adding scars. I moved from the face. Eventually. There we go. I moved away from the face. And just focused on the hands, because that hand down there, beautiful, amazing. It is perfection. But the fist there's a lot to be desired. I don't know how to draw fists, and using my left hand for reference when it was a right hand wasn't very smart. But overall, I believe that the pose has improved significantly, mainly because I've been doing a comic recently. At least that was one of my goals for 2022, was to make a comic, so I created Alice the Vampire Slayer on Webtoon. And it's not good, I still need to work on timing and stuff, but being as it's my first ever comic, I think I'm doing okay. But yeah. Sorry for the plug, but I just wanted to say that's how I've improved a bit more. And also anatomy class in college and university really helps. I did stray away from the fashion design of the last outfit and just resorted to one strap for the I guess that's a chest plate. I don't know what it is. I'm blanking. But just because there were too many straps and it wasn't very coherent as to what was going on. So I changed that up a bit. And here we see I'm struggling with the hands. Pause to look at my own hand and see where I'm going wrong. But it just doesn't improve. I think where I left it off, I'm pretty satisfied with it. You can't really see much of it because it's a glove, so that just means I get to use a dark color, so you don't have to see my mistakes. You know? Smart. I believe the main focus here was not the pose, it was just seeing how better I've improved. And, you know, I did notice on the previous drawing from 5 years ago, that it actually did have ink. I actually did line art on it, but I couldn't see it very clearly because I didn't erase the pencil underneath. And I tried to do a bunch of scales, but I just defaulted to little tiny scaly details. But if I wanted to make myself hurt and spend more time on this drawing, I probably would have done every single scale by hand. Even though I'm pretty sure ClipStudio has some sort of brush for that. And here's some thickening of some lines, adding a bit more folds in the cloth, and I believe I edit that hand some more. Yeah, I wanted to make it look like it belonged, so. And for the color, I'm using a very old drawing of Freya from maybe a couple months ago. Anyway. But Freya still keeps her greens and her blues and her hair color. Nothing too drastic changed. But I bet, like, if me from 5 years ago saw how good I've improved, I think they'd be in awe. They're like, whoa, you drew that? I drew that? Yeah, kid. You're gonna learn anatomy one day. And once you do, it's game over. But yeah, if you want to learn more about Freya, I do have some animations on her. They're just little fun sketches I've done. But yeah, they're in the short animations. She's really fun to animate, and I hope one day I can actually make an animated series with her and her friends one day over the rainbow when I have enough time. This outfit. This outfit is something else. See, there was too much brown going on, so I did adjust. And I did add a bit more gray to the pants thing. And I did adjust them because they looked off for some reason. And then I did a feeble attempt at shining them, like trying to get a nice shine effect going on with it. I don't think it worked out as good as I planned. because there's still a lot to be desired, but I think it translates if you squint and you just take off your glasses and don't look at it. But so far, I'd say there's a massive improvement going on. And that's just by 5 years of actually, like, studying and improving. Shading, I usually, for the comic, I go with a red pen, red color on multiply and opacity of 53. But that was just a little bit too reddish. So I just toned it down a bit so it looked more opaque. Is that the word? Opaque. Freya's come a long way from the skinny beanpole that she was 5 years ago, that's for sure. She apparently got a gym membership, and just look at those gains. Look at those guns. Hopefully her fashion choice improved, but she still wears that green shirt and bluish pants. I think this is the first time on this channel that Freya doesn't have her horned helmet on. Good to see that she's stepping out of her shell, making a few new choices in fashion with a little headband. And here I'm just adjusting the shadows a bit more. Just like making sure I got every little nook and cranny, but this is how I usually color, just by painstakingly coloring everything in by hand instead of using the fill bucket. Don't ask me why, I do it. Yep. Big improvement. And here I futz around with the background, I wasn't sure what to do with it. But I did eventually settle with a blue background with yellow on it. Not sure why, it just looks cool, you know? It looks okay, it looks different, it looks cool. I did mess around with green and purple, but that's more of a Fred color than a Freya color. And I'm just gonna make a little outline. See, this is what I could have done for the shadow bit, but I'm stubborn. I do shadows painstakingly, difficultly, and, you know, it gets the job done. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm not drawing something like this all the time for my comic. But I think that it does help. I have improved. And we're nearing the end. So, here is the before Freya and the after Freya. And I don't know about you, but I think I improved at least a little bit. Then again, this is like 5 years of experience versus whenever the heck 5 years ago was. I don't even know anymore. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. If you made it this far, consider subscribing. You know, if you're gonna listen to me rant, you might as well subscribe, like the video if you liked it, and comment. I want to know your thoughts on if I improved, because I think I did, but like, you know, art's all relative. But hey, I'll see you in the next video.